Okay, I'm moving on to the connecting rods. I don't have any 93 thou material, so I just got a piece of scrap here, and I scribed out, scratched the line at how much I need to cut down to 93 thou. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to do that in the vise over here. And let's see if I can set you up over here somewhere. Let's lower you down a little bit. Lower the tripod down a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a parallel, and this is just a 1/2 by 1 parallel. I'm going to lay that in there. Actually, I'm going to lay 2 of them in there. I'm going to lay the material. I'm going to take the material and lay that up against the back. And I'm going to take another parallel here, and I'm going to lay that down on the side. Actually, I'm going to get a thinner parallel than this. And what it's going to do is it's going to pinch that and allow me to turn or to cut this down. So clamp it up here, and that'll push that up against the solid jaw. And I'll grab myself a 1/2 inch cutter, one that's fairly sharp. Maybe I'll go get one that I sharpened. One of them that I sharpened. Oh, I got a 3/4 collet in there. I thought I had a 1/2 inch collet. Here and tighten that up and shift into high and move over there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cut that off to length right away, so that, because what I want to do is I want to clean up this side and then flip it and then mill it to the right width. I won't be able to do that without hanging on the end, so I'm going to go to the bandsaw and bandsaw that off, you know, so that it's the right, or close to the right length. It'll only take a second here. Should only take a second. And get things all lined up. Can't see my scratch mark, naturally. Okay. I couldn't see the scratch mark on there on the side on the bandsaw. It was when I was standing it up, so it took so long. Alright, now we'll put this in here again, and we'll clamp it. Don't have to be clamped all that tight. And we're going to climb cut and push it against the solid jaw. I'm just going to stay above the parallel. I don't want to mill into my parallel. Bring the light over here. And that's 125 material is what it is. 125 thick. So we're going to mill across there and Like I say, I'm going to climb cut, so it's going to push it against the solid jaw. So I'm going to go in and touch. Just touch there, and I'm just going to take 10 thou. So I'm going to move a 10 thou into it. I'm going to lock my Y, and we're going to go across it. Okay, and get my air hose at. And actually, it's all wound around the tripod here. Haven't turned the air compressor on in a few days. It's down to about 30 pounds. Oh shoot, my parallel moved underneath, so it disappeared on me. It fell all the way through. I need to put a spring in there to hold them apart. My fingers are just long enough to reach in there. Oh, I had it. Here we go. I'm going to get a short spring to put in there. That way it won't happen again. Spring just holds the two parallels apart. So now we have this cut. Now I'm going to lay it in there this way and cut the side that we didn't cut yet. And if I don't over tighten, then I tighten it pretty close to the same, it should blend in. Okay. Now, we'll take that out of there. I'd say that's pretty damn good as far as blending the two cuts together. There's really no visible mismatch. I'm going to grab a mic here. And I want to go to 93 is what the call's out for. And we took exactly 10 thou off of that, so I'm happy with that. So now we're going to turn it around and go the other way. So we know that I'm sitting at 115 now, and I want to go to 93, so 15 and 20. Yeah, 22 thousandths is what I want to go. So I'm going to go ahead and go for it. I'm going to go the whole amount. 10, 22. 22. Got to be careful when you come off the end. This is the only spot that you could end up with having trouble. Because on a thinner material, it might want to pull that into the cutter, but chances are slim on only this small of a piece. There we go. And we'll flip it around. And put the other side down. Nice. That's very nice. Alright, 93, I hope. Well, got a little carried away. 92, 91 and a half. Yeah, it's about a thou to a thou and a half under, but that's not going to matter. So now I want to take and mill the overall length down. So we'll use the same end mill. And just a little bit different setup. Take the spring and parallels out. Now I think I will go back to that little thicker parallel. And we'll put that in here. Oh, I should probably mill the so that it's parallel. Let me check to see just how parallel that is. Because like I say, it's just a piece of scrap, I don't know. It is 517 there. Oh, it is parallel. So don't need to worry about that, I guess. I don't know if that's going to clamp it or not. It's almost exact same width. Let's see. We'll see here. Nope. I'm going to have to go with one parallel underneath, which is fine. Matter of fact, I'm going to go with a little taller parallel. There we go. It ain't much taller, but it's that way I can. The reason I did that is my finger couldn't get down. You know, it's easier for me to push it down onto the parallel. Whoop. All right. So now we're going to move over and we're going to mill, just clean up this end here. Oh, I gotta move in the way here. No, I can't crank. Alright. Unlock my Y-axis. I just want to clean up this end. Okay, and we want to go to a length of 1 inch 718. So I'm going to put a little scratch mark on there at 1 inch 720, and if I mill up to that scratch mark, should almost have. We're getting to the point where we almost need something on the other side the same width. Well, I do have a piece of material here put on the other side just to catch the corner of the parallel or the vise. There we go. Just take a quick measurement of where we're at without taking it out. I am at 1 inch 760 I'm at, and I want to go 23. I want to go about 40 thou more. So I'm going to crank her in 40 thou. 10, 20, 30, 40. And that should get me close enough. got? One at 721. Good enough. Close enough. Now, we need to set up and do some holes. So I am going to put a stop on here. That right there. Long Allen wrench. Tighten that up. And now I want to pick up this, I want to pick up the back edge and the edge of that parallel. And I want to do that with clamping pressure on. So I'm just going to take a Joe block here and I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to clamp it. I'm not clamping it tight, I'm just, you know, snugging it basically. It's about all I do on most of these little engine stuff. Nothing really has to be clamped tight. Okay, what I'm going to do is get my edge finder out. This is an edge finder that I built myself, that I made myself. I made a few of them like this. What it's got in there is it's got a AAA battery, an LED light, and an insulator that's insulating the pin from the outside, so when this makes contact with the fixture or vise or whatever, it should light up, unless the battery's dead. Nope, it lights up. And you don't turn the spindle on for it. You just come up and touch. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over here and we're going to grab the two sides of this Joe block. That'll be the back edge, and then come down here, come down, lock it off. I'm going to turn the light out. That way you'll be able to see it better. And then I'll come in and I will just crank it in until it lights. Right there. So that's 100 thousandths away from this edge. So all I need to do now is zero my y-axis. But I won't really zero it, I'll put it on 100. I'll crank it back in, bring it back down, and I'll actually move it a little bit, and then we'll come in and touch again. And we'll see if we got the same reading. Getting close. There, right there, right on. So now we'll move it in that 100 thou, and we'll re-zero again. So that's the center line of spindles on the edge of the jaw. So I know it's 0 on my dial. I'm going to move you back here so you can kind of see. You can see, maybe, if it focuses. That's 0 on my dial. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here And I'm going to take a black magic marker and just draw a line down that. Now, I don't know if you can see the mark or not, but I have a black mark here. So now I can crank it anywhere I want, you know, and the only thing I have to do is look down here, go beyond the mark, and then bring it back, and then go back to the 0. And it'll be right back on center line again. Anyway, that's how I keep track of my numbers and stuff. It works pretty easy. Just put a black mark down, a grease pencil mark on your way. So now I'm going to move in, and I'm going to pick up this edge, the edge of that Joe block. And that'll be the stop. Are we looking at it? Right. So I do the same thing, bring it in, till it just touches, till it lights up. Right there. Zero my dial. And actually, when I say 0 my dial, I'm actually setting it at 100 because I know that it's 100 thou away. So I don't really 0 them, I set it at 100. Okay, so it's set at 100. I'm going to back out. And I'm going to bring it down again. I just do this as a double check. The second time I just turned the spindle a little bit in case you were to get that in there and it wasn't running true, but it's pretty obvious that it is because I get the same reading. Anyway, I did on y-axis. I should here too, right there, and we're at 100. So now I can move that over 100 and move this back to 0. Oop. Past my 0 here. Okay, now we're sitting right at the corner. Sitting right at that corner of that. So we're ready. We know where we're at now. Take my edge finder out of there. This edge finder was actually very, very simple to make. It's like I say, it's got a battery in here, light bulb down here, an LED light, and it's got insulating material here, and the pin is pressed into that. I put it all together, and then I had the OD ground, and I sat up and dialed that in and ground this perfectly concentric to the housing. Put a little thread in there and a spring to hold the battery down. Like I say, it works very well. I made a bunch of these. They work really nice. All right, enough of that. Now let's get going here. I need to poke some holes. So we'll put this in here. Put our piece of material in there. Snug it up. And now I'm going to take my parallel out. All the way out so I don't drill into it. I don't want to drill into my parallel. Alright. Put the little drill chuck back in. Okay, so we need to move over the dimension that we're going to need on X, which is 5/64. We need to move over 5/64 over, so that would be, I don't know my fractions very well, so I gotta always look it up. 78 thou. So we'll just move over 78 thou. Okay, 78 thou. And the width of those are 157 wide So we'll go 78 thou in also. There's 78. So now we need to drill a hole there. We need to drill a ream 3/32 diameter hole. Drill 186. I'm just going to double drill it. I'm going to drill with a 186 and then a 93. Alright, here we go. Yeah. You see a problem with that? Went the wrong way. I need to go 78 out, or in, not out. Sometimes you just kind of wonder. All right, I'm gonna drill it with this. And then I'm going to drill it up to a 93. So now I'm going to put the parallel back underneath. Oh, you know what? I got enough to make 3 here. And I only made enough material because I was planning on making... I need another piece of material like that. Because this is... I was only going to make 2 out of this. And, oops. Because what I was going to do is drill for one, rotate it 180 and drill for the other, and then bandsaw right down the middle. So I need to back up and cut more material, but that's okay. I'll finish these 2 off, I guess, and then do the whole process all over again. That's okay. No biggie. So we'll just put this in 180 degrees off from what it was. I actually could have got 3 out of it, but I was just, like I say, I was planning on 2, and that way I don't have to be real careful. I can just go through it with a bandsaw and not worry about it. But that's okay. So we'll poke this hole. We'll get there eventually. And open it up. Now the other hole I think is a 62. So now we move over for the other hole. We don't move it on Y because they're both on the same center line. So we just move it on X. And we move 1 inch 578 thousandths. So I am going to 0 this other dial on the other side, even though it's backwards. And I'm going to go 1 inch 78 thousandths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 78. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 78. That's where the other hole goes. And I believe that's a 62. Yep, 1/16 on that hole. So get the 1/16 drill out. Center drill. And then drill. And get the bell underneath it so I don't drop it. Oh, like that? What did I just say? Put the barrel underneath so I don't drop it, not so I drop it. Alright, I give it a quick run over with the file. Knock the burr off of it. Ain't much of a burr, but a little bit. And then we'll put this, we'll turn it 180 degrees again and put it back in. Would have been so simple if I'd had both material. Whoops. Gotta get this corner over here. Alright. Center drill. And then drill. There. All right. So that pretty much does it for this operation. I'm going to go ahead and make another piece of material. But see, now what I can do is I just, you know, grab the center line of this and run the bandsaw right down the center of that. You know what I could do? I could do the undercut and the undercut, and then that way when I bandsaw it, then I can just do the one undercut here. I could actually do the undercuts this way too. I'll have to think about the next, what my next step is after I get another piece of material caught up to this. So when I get caught back up to this with another piece of material, I will come back. But for now, I'm going to shut the camera off. Okay, I'm going to continue on connecting rods. Go ahead and I caught you a second laying out the first one. And now I'm going to part off. I'm going to use a little cutter. Not exactly sure. It's like a woodruff cutter, but it's really thin. And I'm going to clamp the parts in my mill here in the vise, and I'm going to attempt to part them off. Keep saying part them off. Just use that to a little saw to saw woodruff cutter. Not sure. It's like a woodruff cutter, but it's pretty thin. It is like 45 thousandths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp my parts in there, my connecting rods, and I'm just going to part it off. I'm going to try to part it off or cut it off. Cut it off of there at the right width. We'll see if this will work or not. Okay. So, I want to clamp that in there. Need a couple parallels. In there. Yeah, I think I'll start with the shorter parallel here, I guess. And just that one like that. Need the other mate to that. Need the mate to that parallel. I'll put that on there. That's not the mate. The one in my hand is the mate. I'll get it yet. I won't need the bite or the stop now. So I'll take that off. I'll take the stop out of the way. Don't need that. Lay that down here. Slide these in. That ought to work. Okay, we'll just snug up the vise. And what I'm going to do is bring the quill down on the top, touch it, and we'll move out of the way. So that's 45 thousandths, so crank the table up 45. And then I'm going to zero there. And now we want the width of that. And that is 157. 156. So 156. So 156. I'm going to go 157 just for good measure. And okay. So we're going to try to part that off now. So I'm going to move over here so you can get a good look at it. I got to lower it down a little more. Alright, now you can see it. So, we'll start the spindle up here. Make sure I'm in gear. Hopefully I won't go flying too far. Got an eye on it. Oh, did it landed down by my, landed in my, by my parts rack. So all I have is just a little tiny tip there that I'll get off of there with a file. So we'll clean that up and we'll get the next one in there. Put the next part in there. And we'll do the same thing. We're already, oh shoot, parallel moved on me again. I don't have a spring in there. You'd think I would learn to put a spring between them every time. Get my little file here. I can scooch it to the back of the vise here. I can't. My fingers can't reach it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get spring now. Put a spring in between to hold them apart. Try this again. Drop the part in there. Pull it down. Yeah, and I want to put something here to catch it so it doesn't go flying so far. So, turn the light off here, and I'm going to just going to hang a rag over it for a catcher, a backstop. Still can see it, right? Even though it's a little darker. Actually, I'll just stop right there. Take it off there. All right, cool. Now we got to figure out how to do the next part off the next one. And I think if I switch those parallels around, I'll be able to do it. You can put the tall one back there. Open that up a little more, spring it out. Put this tall one back here. Let's see what that is. That is 150. I'll be 6 thou above. Right. So I need to switch this to the taller one. Put spring in between. But now I can't put this parallel in there because it's too tall. I'm gonna have to get a thinner parallel. So right here. Alright, okay, I'm going to get my depth mic. I trust my calipers, so I'm going to get my depth mic to mic that. Make sure that I get to the right depth that I want. I haven't had my depth mic out of the box in a long time. Alright. So, because I don't trust the caliper to get me, well, it would get me within 10. Okay. We are at, well, that's about what my caliper said. It's actually 156. So if I come down to where I'm just brushing the vice jaw, I should be set. So what I'm going to do, I'm go over here and move it in and grab a piece of paper. I don't know what this paper thickness is. About 2 thou. So let's put that paper under there and pull it down on that. And get most of it out of the way. Okay. Alright, we're going to give this a whirl. So now I'll lay the part down to the bottom and I'm going to try to get the excess off the top of it. One way to skin a cat, I guess. I hope. I hope this will work. It should work. Alright, here we go. Now I don't care where that little piece, that's a piece of scrap. Coming off of there. Rubbing the vice straw. Yeah, putting a shine on it, but it's not cutting anything, it's just rubbing it. Measure this to make sure that I'm right. Yeah, I could drop it, I could actually drop it a couple thou. So I am going to drop my knee down a couple thou on the next one. Kind of rubbing that vice jaw pretty hard. I don't want to mess up my vice jaw. I dropped it 2 thou. And we'll do the last one here. Okay. And there we go. Well, we got them that far. Might have to go and get my soft jaws over here to finish these though. But, yeah, it rubbed, it put a mark on it, but it's not, can't feel it. So it didn't really hurt anything. I stole here just to see. That's fine. It's fine. I put an indicator on there, but it's maybe a tenth or two is all. Like I say, it rubbed. Well, I knew it would. I brought it down on that paper. I should have held it up by 2, but I run that risk of it. Where did I do my... Looking for... Oh, here it is, my depth mic. That mic away. Okay, so now we need to figure out how to continue on from here. There's several ways I could do it, I guess. Just trying to think of which way would be the best. File that little mismatch off the end where it let go. Alright. Looks good. So, we need to come in here and relieve both sides. I could go and put them into lengthways and hope not to crush them. Could put a pin through them all to do that. Oh, I know what I could do. Well, I was just thinking that I could put a pin through them. Yeah, I can do that. I could put pin through it. I could put 2 pins through. And put a 62, and I think this was a 93. So it'd be 31 thousandths. So that would be 15 thou different. So I'd put a 62 and a 93, and then put a 15 thou shim underneath, and that would hold it. That would hold it straight. And then I could just. I'm gonna give that a try if I got some pins here. Don't know if I have. I know I have the 62. That's just a piece of drill or a piece of welding rod. That's 62 thou diameter. Take and cut off a piece if I can find my clippers. I'm gonna. Okay, so the 62 through there. And now I need a 93 on the other side. Because then I'll be able to just lay it in here like that and clamp it. Yeah, lay that rod down. So, come on guys, what's 93? What is, what can I use? It's 93 thousandths in diameter. About a nail. Will that fit through there? It's be a pretty tight 93. That was drilled at 93, correct? Yep. Well, I know what I can do. I'll just take the drill bit. Duh. Duh. That's hard to figure. I'll just take the drill bit and put it in there. And lay it in there, and then I got to put 15 thou shim on that side. Get my feeler gauge. Feeler gauge out and get the 15 thou shim. And take it apart here, so I don't have to fight with trying to hold it there. Take the 15th thou out of there. And put the rest of it back together so I don't lose them. And we'll slide that underneath this side over here. And okay, I'm out here. We're gonna finish up the connecting rods. What I did was I made a little, took a couple blocks of aluminum, just some scrap pieces of aluminum, and what I did was I took and milled a notch 50 thou deep here, and then undercut it. I went 50 thou. Let me get a pencil here. Okay, so what I did was I clamped them together in a vise, like that. You know, both together. And I came in with an 1/8 inch end mill, and I caught half of one block, half of the other block, went down 50 thou and out. Then I adjusted it down another 50 thou and came in on the end and made an undercut here. So now I can take the connecting rod blanks that I have made and I can put them in there and load them up, and it'll pinch on right here and right there, and I can go and cut my 15 thou. But when I tried that, naturally the bottom is going to collapse together and it's going to spit it out. So I had to figure out at what size feeler gauge I needed down at the bottom. So I took and I calculated that I needed a 25 thou feeler gauge. So I set the feeler gauge down at the bottom of it. So now it actually tips it in a little bit and grips it, and it grips it nice and tight, and I can go in and adjust down my 15 thou, cut one side, and then that's why I made the little undercut on the end here, is once I cut one side, now this pad is thicker than here, so when I flip it over, that thick part will fit down into that little pocket on the end. I hope you follow along anyway. That it works. I did one, and everything is set up here. I will attempt to do another one. We'll put it in here. Put this one over here. And then we'll take that feeler gauge and we'll put it down at the bottom and slide it in. Oops, and then keep these two ends here straight over on the end here. See if I can move you in a little closer here and try to get a better shot. Flip my viewfinder around. Whoop. Loosen the wrong knob on my tripod here. Alright. Might be better if I turn the light off. Not really. It'd be better if I had something to block the light on that side a little bit. Let's see if I can just set something here to... I don't know. I'm messing around with a shield over here to see if that helps. Not really. Oh well. So anyway, now I want to clamp the small hole end always to the right. You know, so I put that in there. Should fit down in the little recess that I made. And slide it in all the way. Hold it down. Gotta kind of hold it down a little bit. And then just snug it up so it's nice and tight. That'll hold it. And I'm gonna adjust down my 15 thou for the first side. And we'll cut the first side here. I just go around and do the end here first. Okay, so now we'll just buzz down it to the other end. It's an 1/8 inch end mill I have in there. And we want to line up with the 2 little flats on the sides, and then go back and finish it. You got to take it easy in the middle there, because the middle is loose. It's just gripping on the 2 ends. Okay, so now that's the first side. So now we take it out of there and knock the little burrs off a little bit. And now we'll take and put it in upside down with the side we just cut down and get it back in there. After a little bit of the shakes again today. Again, hold it down, hold the 2 ends down especially. And snug it up. Now I'm going to crank up the 15th thou for the second side. And we'll do the same thing as we just did. Run around the end here first. And then buzz down it. Line it up with the 2 flats on from the sides. Go across. And then get back to the other end, and then off the part, and that should do it. And there we go. So now it's just a matter of, I'm going to hand blend radiuses on here and radiuses over here, and then clean it up and deburr it a little bit, and like I say, hand blend some of the stuff, and then I will install it into my wrist pins, wrist posts. I don't know, it's not really a wrist pin, it's actually part of the piston, because the wrist pin is the pin that goes through it. Basically, it's the wrist pin holder. Well, I'll just call it the post for now, the wrist pin posts. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sit down and do some hand work on this, and do some blending and whatever. And when I get one put in the piston, or put together on the motor, I will give you a look at it.